Hello viewers, welcome to UncutAfrica Live, a channel that brings you great content coming from all corners of Africa. Since African countries gained independence, which was spearheaded by Ghana and its first president Kwame Nkrumah and other great leaders from other African countries, the Pan-African spirit has inspired many Africans who have somehow become advocates of Pan-Africanism. One woman who has been vocal for years about Pan-Africanism is Dr. Arikana Chihumbori-Kwao. She recently organized the Diaspora Conference and she accused most African leaders of being a puppet for Western countries and also exposed how African colonial masters gave Africans fake independence and turned around to siphon our natural resources. Let's take some time to watch this video and judge it ourselves to see if she was telling the truth or telling lies.
Of retaking our Africa back to where Africa once was. I'm talking about the Africa that was the center of the world. I'm talking about the Africa that taught us what it means, we as humanity in general, regardless of our color, what it means to be human, what it means to be civilized. I'm talking about an Africa that once was the center of the earth. The question then becomes, my brothers and sisters, what is ailing the Barbary Kingdom? What is ailing the Limpopo? What is ailing South Africa? What is ailing Africa? How did we get here? And as we move on this journey, we must understand the genesis of where no matter where you meet us as a people, we are the most endangered species on earth. Be it black people in South America, go to their communities. What ails them also ails us here in Africa. Black people in America, black people in the Caribbean, the world has put a system in place to see to it, no matter where we are as people of African descent, we are subjected to the same pressures that is always going to be difficult for us to find ourselves having a leg up.
One thing I love about this woman is how she's passionate about Africa. I don't know, many people also express other opinion about her, but I have followed her for some time and I love her passion for the continent. Let's continue.
I'm talking about the world's financial systems that were created in the 1940s with the sheer understanding that their success is based on the failures of developing nations. Of course, the majority are in Africa. I'm talking of world trade systems that were put in place to make sure that Africa will continue to be the provider of raw materials in order to create jobs for the Western world. I'm talking about the colonizers from the West, who, as they were giving us the liberation of our countries in the 60s, that late 50s into the 60s, they simply gave us fake independence, made us believe that we are now free. But what they never gave us, which was really what really matters the most, was economic liberation. The multinationals that existed in all of Africa prior to liberation, they have never left our beloved continent. So it is the multinationals from colonization continue to be in Africa today. So in actuality, Africa remains under economic colonization.
Whoa.
We must understand that those multinationals continue to siphon trillions out of Africa every day, beginning with right here in Limpopo. We have our people surrounded by all these mines. Where is that money going? As we speak today, 75% of all the minerals traded at the London Stock Exchange are coming from Africa. And none of them are owned by us, Africa. That includes minerals coming from a region right here where we are standing. You fail to benefit from what belongs to you simply because of the policies that were put in place back yonder. The question is, where do we go from here? What I find most disturbing is the fact that we as Africans We don't understand the fundamentals of what has been done to us. Allow me to highlight a few areas that I think if we are to understand why this ailing African tree of life cannot come back to life. Let's look at the issues above the ground on this tree, which are the issues they want us to focus on, and they never want us to look at the issues below the ground.
Africa need to wake up.
The issues above the tree, above the ground, we're talking about poor access to healthcare, poor access to education, poor leadership, poor infrastructure. These are all the trees, the leaves, the branches, the fruits, the flowers of this tree that come and go from one season to the other. They want us to continue to be stuck on stupid, talking about those issues. The question is, why is it that we don't have enough funds to build better schools? Why is it that we don't have enough funds to build better roads? Why is it that our leadership is being sold to the highest bidder? Goes back to the issues of the root. Allow me to talk about issue number one, which is pivotal for us to understand if Africa is going to move forward. If we are going to take a position right here in the Limpopo, in the Barbary Kingdom, to do something about what is happening in our backyards. I'm talking about the issue of the mind. When the colonizers came to Africa centuries ago, they made some of the most amazing people on earth. People so powerful, with well-established religious systems, educational systems, people so strong that they didn't know how were we going to conquer such a people. So they sought out to defeat us where it matters the most, which is the mind. They sent missionaries to come to Africa and teach us about religion. They told us about a place called heaven, where there are angels. It's the most beautiful. Everybody wants to grow up to be an angel. And they said those angels are white. And they said there's a place called hell. And there is a devil, a monster that everybody needs to shy away from, the mean person. And that devil is black. And prior to that, we had gone to school. They taught us about the colors, white, blue, black, orange, yellow. But they picked up two colors, black and white. They gave attributes to the color white, and they gave attributes to the color black. We may not look like this white sheet of paper, but don't worry about that. We are telling you that we are white, like the angels. And you may not be black like this tablecloth, but don't worry about that. We are telling you that you're black, like the devil. And when we call you black, you own everything, all the attributes that we have given to the color black. And when you call us white, you give us all the attributes that we have told you come with the color white. This was centuries ago, my brothers and sisters. And what did we say? We said,
Amen.
We're great with them. I call that number one lie. I don't know about all of you. If I were to ask all of you, where is heaven? Can you point where heaven is? All of you. Where is heaven? It's up there, right? I know about all of you, but I got my own ideas about where heaven is and where hell is. You see someone up there, and I have my own ideas of the gates to heaven and the gates to hell. They've done a great job of creating an image on us of nothing but lies. So as we go around, I often say in the United States, when you're filling out forms, there's only black or white. Why is it that the Chinese are not called brown Americans? Why is it that the Mexicans are not called brown Americans? Because the color brown was not the issue. The issue was to introduce white supremacy. The issue was to destroy the African where it matters the most. The issue was to make the black person, the African, believe that you are inferior. And when we go to church and worship the angels and the white Jesus, we're worshiping them. So we're continuously defeated. There's some subliminal messages everywhere, reminding us that that which we represent is undesirable. That when you look at your own brother, you should be scared. That when you look at your own brother, you can't trust him because you see yourself as the devil. I mean, I don't know how many of you have seen the video of a 5-year-old little black boy. He was given 2 dolls. One was black and the other one was white. He was asked which doll was beautiful. He pointed at the white one. Which doll was ugly? He pointed at the black one. Which one was nice? He pointed at the white one. Which one is mean? He pointed at the black one. He was then asked, which one looked more like you? And reluctantly, he pointed at the black one. A 5-year-old is defeated before he even begins his life. No self-respecting mother. No self-respecting father, aunt, uncle, grandmother would have said that 5-year-old and told him that you're ugly because of the color of your skin. That you're mean because of the color of your skin. But because the subliminal messages are everywhere, he is born into a world that teaches him that you're inferior. My brothers and sisters, chiefs and kings, this is 2022. When are we going to denounce this lie? This lie is so powerful. The same 5-year-old boy is going to grow up to be the next minister. So when you ask this minister and say, Minister of Finance, you understand what the World Bank is doing, that the average African country is spending over 1/3 of their GDP on loan repayment. Some countries it's over 50%. And then the same people, they will ask you after they have stolen your lunch through the World Bank, why can't you make it? Because you're still making me pay loans that go back to apartheid. You're still making me pay loans with high interest rates when I've never defaulted on my loans. When countries that have defaulted on loans, they get better interest rates from the World Bank. Remember, the world financial systems were designed to see to it that Africa was forever defeated. So line number 1, we're talking about the 5-year-old boy who's going to grow up to be the next president of Africa, the next minister, the next CEO. When you go to the boardroom table, when you go to those meetings with a colonized mind, a mind that says, I'm already defeated, a mind that says when you look in front of the white person, your knees buckle in, garbage out. The issue of the mind, whether we like to face it or not, it is a serious problem for us, even here, more importantly, in South Africa, when you can see fellow South Africans looking negatively at other Africans from outside Africa. What is wrong with this picture? What are you thinking? Think of what the world went through to rescue South Africa. And yet we have too many of us who are so goddamn stupid and colonized that they can't see facts for what they are. When you cannot see something so simple, how then do you think we are going to come together and begin to deal with issues of the Barbadian kingdom? How then do you begin to come together and deal with issues of the Limpopo, of South Africa? Like that 5-year-old boy who is just now grown, but still defeated where it matters the most. I call that issue number 1 of the issues below the ground. We must wake up as a people. We may not like each other as individuals, but when it comes to issues of the Barbadian kingdom, we must stick together like superglue. When it comes to issues of South Africa, we must stick together like superglue. come to issues of Africa, we must stick together like super glue, because my brothers and sisters, that's what the rest of the world is doing. Ask for the voices. In my case, you talk about the United States. Ask for the voices of the Chinese diaspora, loud and clear. Voices of the Mexican diaspora, the Irish diaspora, the Jews, the German Americans, the Italians. They stay together like superglue. But when you ask for the voices of us Africans, you might as well go to the graveyard. We are missing in action. Until we address issue number one, everything else that we try to do will not succeed. So those who try to tell you that South Africans are better than the rest of the Africans, stop right there. When you fall for that sort of thinking, remind yourself you're that 5-year-old little boy. And you have a responsibility as an individual to wake yourself up. Ask not what your neighbor has done, what your friend has done. The question is, what have you done? What have you done to wake yourself up so you can be a better citizen that can be part of a whole that's going to do what it takes to liberate our beloved kingdom of Barbados, to liberate our region of the Limpopo. It starts with you, the mind.
As you heard here, what I can say is Africa, is about time we stick together. We have to stick together. When it comes to trade, we have to start. I know they have started something which is helping most African countries to trade together or to trade among ourselves. It's a good start, and we have to do things together and stick together. If we are going to beat this strategy the Western countries has planned against Africa, we have to wake up. We have to wake up. Otherwise, centuries to come, the coming generation are going to also blame us for not doing the right thing. We have to start thinking, because the manner African countries are suffering right now, most African youth are running away from Africa. Most African youth are running away from Africa, and it's not a good news. We have to start thinking outside the box and rescue this continent. That's what I will say. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification button so that anytime we upload any content, you will be notified. Thanks for watching.